Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM24 Youth Factory. It's episode 66. It's FA Cup. It's Brentford. We're at home. Largest crowd ever for our team, I believe. Not a sellout. Pretty dang close to it. Huge bumper crowd for the occasion. And massive underdogs. We can't hardly do anything in our league, though. Of course, last couple episodes, we have found some form. We have found some victories. We are finding a way. And the way we have found has been ultra-defensive, counter-attacking football, which, of course, is exactly what we're going for today because, it's Brentford. First chance of the game, 5 minutes in. Only .08 XG. We blocked it with the chest. We've gone 10 minutes, only given up one shot. I think that's a heck of a start for us. If we can give up one start every 10 minutes as Lanahan Penreese goes really close to bending that around the wall and into the upper corner. It goes just wide for our first chance. Only .04 on the XG for that one, but it was a lot closer. But not quite as close as that, was it? That was extremely close. That may have come off the crossbar, but Julian rightfully saves a very difficult shot to save, as it very well could have slid underneath Socrates. What else you got here? Montez. Julian clutching that one, and it remains goalless. We are getting beat pretty handily here, but we're still alive in this thing. I was hoping for one shot every 10 minutes. That was looking like a good way to hang in the game, but that's their 7th attempt. We've played 25 minutes. We're down 1-0. Great shot there. I thought Julian could have had that one. Lanahan Penreese, heavy first touch, gives it away, and Lukic just peels off his man. Way too easy. Way too easy, that one. Goals, XG, coming pretty close to one another. At this rate, we're looking at losing 3-0. I would probably take that at the end of the day, based on the deficit we are facing, as they go pretty close there. Looks like that might have got off his teammate. Offside. Jairzinho is offside on that occasion. We're up to 9 attempts now. McCartney. Hewitt. McCartney blasts that off of Nunez for no reason at all, to no one in particular. And Socrates goes very close. Julian pumps that one up and over the crossbar, out for the corner kick. Hewitt gets a piece, and goal kick, though it looked like a kick save from Julian, so it must have been a bar save. That was a post. There's 2 before half. Now on rate for potentially 4. Another free kick. Dangerous position. Why are we even playing him into that spot? I don't know, but we did. He was offside. Oh, did he step onside, though? It looked like he was still, like his upper body was still trailing behind where they placed that line. But, okay. I suppose that was on. 14-2 on the shot attempts. 1.3 on the XG. Things are looking a little harsh for us at the moment. Obviously, we're getting outplayed massively, and we are clearly going to lose this game, but still looking harsh. They shouldn't have 2 goals right now. Whitehouse, that is our attempt at the game right there. Wouldn't that have been something if we had pulled one back before half? Sad thing here is that plenty of these guys are not their starters. Oh, bad giveaway on that one, and missed interception. And it's 3-0. We're not even at halftime. Come on. I'm going to be yelling at these guys at half now. It was fine to be down 1-0. It was acceptable at 2-0. That's a terrible play right there. Just pathetic. They're still at 1.54 for the XG. 3 goals? Are you kidding me? We won't throw the water bottle, but we will point the finger. Good. They're inspired by that. Did the right amount of screw you. But we are heavy underdogs, so I get it. We're a championship side. Come on now. It shouldn't be this bad. gulf to Premier League, that was pretty damn huge. And clearly, for us, the gulf to the championship from League One was pretty damn huge. McCartney in space, gets it to Lanahan. Penrese hits Ward on the overlap where we had the numbers. Gets the cross in. Whitehouse, that's his second attempt there. And that was equal on our best chance of the day. And we've done that in the first minutes coming out of the second half. That's a plus. That is a plus for us. That was more than anything we did early on. And now we've played an hour. Things have calmed down. I would much rather it still be just 2-0. And Penrese is awful, so James Spong is on. The young reserve for us is no match for them. He's like 87 overall or something. Hewitt's doing awful. Spong is hurt now. He was already hurt, but that wasn't showing when he played last game. He's coming back from his own injury, but we have so many injuries that we have what we have. Then let's get on Redknapp. Whitehouse is not doing anything. We'll bring on Buttle. And wow, we still can. I haven't made... It's not going to let me make another sub. I needed to pause. I should still have another sub occasion left. I did those two things back to back, but it counted them. It entered them separately. Julian, big save there. That was not a terribly well placed shot, but that was still a difficult save. Oof. Close range. Come on. Much better second half. Only half a goal worth of XG and no additional goals coming against us. Time's nearly up. I told you before I'd be pretty happy with 3-0 and I'm much happier with the second half performance. We went from 2 attempts to 7. We got half a goal worth of XG. We held them to just shy of 2 goals worth of XG. Stopped the bleeding in the second half. Much different, much better performance for us in the second half. Overall, the ratings sucked. Never got good. Massively outplayed, but at the end of the day, not embarrassed. If the first half was replicated, that would have been embarrassing. Held our ground in the second half. I'll take that. $500,000 in gate receipts for that game absolutely helped us out, but our balance is suffering. Since we got our big sell-off cashed in, we were up to $9.43 million, but we immediately invested nearly half of that money into training facility upgrade, which is already done. We're at that 4 stars now, but we were at 5.3, almost 5.4 million following that move. Now, half a season later, barely half a season later, we're down to we were down to 1.9. We're up to 2.3-ish. So we nearly turned that into about $400K profit. Of course, there was a gate share with Brentford, which is kind of silly as they're a huge club, but that's just how it works. It would have been nice to travel to them. The gate share would have meant a lot more than what we got for the home gate. But the finances are definitely dropping off fast, and you can see that long-term trend. I mean, there's little upticks, but we've constantly been on the drop. Building that fan base is important, and that was definitely not our best showing. We are halfway through the winter window, so we still have the rest of the month ahead of us with the transfer window closing on the 31st at 11 p.m. Lots of offers, lots of different players coming in. It could be a hectic final couple of weeks. Part of this is the concern over these types of things. I just got our first offer for Sam Lyons. It wasn't even $200K total future package. Like, it was $60K up front and about $100K eventual on top of it. Like, garbage offer. He's worth $1.3 million. Minimum was nowhere near. I mean, it was about $100K shy of his minimum transfer value. But he's mad because it was Nottingham Forest. They are in the Premier League right now, but still, That was a pitiful offer by a club who's massively in debt, but he's mad anyway. And he's not the first to be mad this January. That's something I really need to contend with, especially when the club was pretty upset with the after-game report. I criticized them in the first half at halftime, and they responded well. So I gave them, aftermath comments. The kind of performance. The, hey, that was a better half. They didn't take it lightly. They were confused. And so morale is taking a pretty big hit at the moment. And if anybody backs Sam Lyons, it's going to snowball into a lot of guys being pretty upset. Speaking of, a day later, Whitehouse, Joseph, Wiley, and McCartney are all unhappy because they're backing Sam Lyons and thinking we should let him leave for pennies on the dollar. Well, we're going to get a nice healthy cash injection here as Berchielli, our former goalkeeper, has been signed by Atalanta. And Atalanta, we're going to get 2.5% of the fee, the $160K, but that's because he was one of those back in the free transfer days where we weren't yet professional, and he left and he was brought back on the minimum security same day, so actually get a bonus $160K. But the reality is for the, eventual $7.7 million, $6.5 million up front. We're going to get $2.4 million, which is 50% of the profit. So $2.4 million up front, $2.56 million up front, and then an additional $725K in installments is going to help us out with this one and stabilize those finances for what one would assume is the remainder of this year. Gotta love this one. Half the team wants me to sell players because tiny bids are coming in, and now half the team is upset that we don't have enough depth. What's it going to be? Should we keep our players, or should we fire sale everybody and to make them happy and have no players whatsoever? Well, at least Nottingham Forest have come back for something a little more respectable. $145K up front, eventual of $600K. Still nowhere near what his value is. He's already upset, so screw them, screw him. Getting closer to back to fitness. Also, we just had a little break in the schedule to where match load has really decreased, so injury risk is dropping off significantly. Still Potter getting the start at the back line. Hassel, though, is at least cleared to play part of the game. Adekunle is cleared to play most of the game, so he'll get his first start in a long time. And Archie Jones on the left for the first time in a while instead of the other options. I don't think I want Phil Hewitt starting, especially with the extreme decreased morale that he has. Nobody's too bad, but he's the one who's definitely worse off on the whole I want out. Somebody's offering money for me even though it's not comparative to my value. Instant result for these next couple of matches as we try to finish out the month of January. Bournemouth was first. They absolutely dominated, but we come away with a point. That's a victory in our books for sure against a good Bournemouth side. Especially with that level of domination, to come away goalless is that clean sheet's a big plus for us. All those chances, though, it was only one goal worth of XG, but it was good on us to stop them from getting that goal worth of XG. Lyons handed in a transfer request. That's how adamant he is about wanting us to accept. If they offer something significant, obviously I have to accept. For now, they're still offering pennies compared to what he's worth. So there's no freaking way that I'm going to accept a deal like this, especially when we can't replace players. Starting to reach the danger zone when it comes to Phil Hewitt, though. He has been awful. He has done absolutely nothing. Problem is I don't have a replacement for him, but we're getting pretty damn close to his level. The 1.1 million is below even the low end of his value, but it's with add-ons 2 million, which is the high end of his value. It's going to take a bit more than that. It's going to take closer to about 3 million at the high end before we are to be forced into that acceptance. But this is looking like it could come sooner rather than later. They've got about 4 days left to do this, and the offers are definitely getting larger and larger for Phil Hewitt at the moment. Away at Coventry, and we come so close Scoreline. Game massively outclassed. 3-2. The final, Phil Hewitt getting a consolation goal very late to make it interesting, but they clearly were the team that earned the victory all the way throughout. Sam Julian with an 8.5 rating to try to keep us in this thing. Phil Hewitt had a big day finally. And Adekunle bouncing back. That drops us to 19th, 29 points, 28 played. It's been a difficult stretch. We had multiple guys sick. We've had a lot of guys injured. Selection has been difficult. The funny thing was I was just saying, a week back, how things were getting better for us, and then we had 2 guys come down ill and 2 more injuries, and suddenly that was 4 more guys that were questionable, playing hurt, or unavailable. The weekend was quiet. We're into Monday with the deadline Wednesday night. It's getting closer. Phil Hewitt might be gone before the end of the next 3 days, but I'm really hoping to be able to hang on to Sam Lyons and everybody else. Latest transfer request comes in, Phil Hewitt. For now, I will reject, though I may end up accepting something over the next day and a half offer-wise for him. The race for Sam Lyons has grown. Huddersfield, Middlesbrough, and Nottingham Forest, a lot of the mid to lower Premier League sides suddenly want to get Sam Lyons off of our hands. He's only 19 years old, and with that kind of value, I would 100% be doing the exact same thing they are, but I would actually offer the $1.5 million compared to even these smaller clubs, compared to what they have, resources. That is an incredibly small fee. We could reject for now, but it's only 10 a.m. And out of nowhere, we haven't had anything for offers for Walker until an hour ago. Suddenly, now there's 3 clubs, same clubs coming in for Steve Walker, looking at him instead of potentially Hewitt, maybe giving up on Hewitt and switching to Walker. Well, Walker has already, after the first offer less than an hour ago, said, "Hey, coach, let's talk." So now we're on our 3rd player who's rather upset. And then, of course, there's all those other players that aren't too happy themselves that I'm not letting these guys go. At this point, luckily, though, it's the same 3 teams. And the same 3 teams are just not offering anything significant enough. And safety net has just gone up. Phil Hewitt's value is now upwards of $3 million. So as they just hit the 2.4 range, it's extended things further that we're either going to get more money for Phil Hewitt or we're going to be able to hang on to him. We're just going to have, half the team with low morale to try to recover in the coming months. You could see why Nottingham Forest, Huddersfield, and Middlesbrough are so desperate to get a player right now, as all 3 of them are in the relegation fight. One very much at the bottom end of the zone and the other 2 barely above it right now. It makes sense why they're coming after a bargain. They don't have the money to do anything, but they're desperate to do something, even taking a swing on a young player who's clearly not yet ready for Premier League football. Not sure how it helps them in their relegation battle, but you can see the mentality of they have a extreme weakness and they're really taking a swing in the dark at something that might help them. And hoping that maybe bringing in an 18, 19-year-old player who's close to the level of the player who's playing poorly and maybe, in their late 20s or early 30s will develop fast enough to eclipse them and help them bring energy, right? It's 5:15 now, though. We are getting later in the day, and the offers have not really increased at this point, though they have continue to come in from those 3 clubs for those 2 players. Here's the next one, Nottingham Forest again for Lyons, and they're getting closer. It is getting dangerous, but it is after 7, and 1.4 itself is not enough when they're only actually offering $300K. So it's going to take a lot more than what they're offering, but if they double this, that would be enough. 2 hours later, incremental, very, very small gain. We're talking about another $50K and $100K overall. That's it. I don't think that's going to do it. It's 9:15. We might just be hanging on to our players this window, but with the consequences of half the team being pretty upset. And with the other half being rather upset over the lack of depth, means the whole team, after we've taken that snowball and gotten the winning happening and the morale was really good, team was performing so much better than the start of the season, well, morale's going to drop again. It might be a bit harder to get wins in the near future, but hold on, we still have a couple hours left of the window. 10-15, Nottingham Forest desperately trying to get one of our wingers, and no, not even close to the offer necessary. And it's 11 o'clock. It is 11 o'clock. Here is the new player payroll expenditure in the championship. Everton, Crystal Palace, way ahead of everybody else, but Sunderland, Sheffield, and Blackburn and Watford are way up there as well, and it's definitely no slouch to all these mid-table guys before it finally drops off at 23 million and us now at 5 billion as we've renewed a couple of contracts and seen the payroll grow a little bit. But yeah, we're still at just half of Charlton's payroll, and they're the next bottom from us, and it's such a stark difference from top to bottom of this league. They're just massive gulf. February, of course, is that shortest month with the 28 days. Fairly busy schedule with 6 matches, but not super heavy. We have just 2 midweek matches, and then of course that carries right over into the beginning of March, but better opportunity for us. However, Watford, Derby are right near the top of the league, biggest payroll in Everton. Not looking at very many winnable matches in the coming month. I think we are looking at a very difficult time in the near future, even though Everton and Ipswich aren't necessarily having a very good season, or Hull for that matter. So maybe there's some opportunities. But remember, we had the sicknesses, multiple injuries, and morale, huge drop. We have survived. I'm surprised that Hewitt is not gone. That one I figured was all but a done deal before the deadline, but it turns out that the 3 clubs that were coming in desperate for multiple players on our roster just didn't have the finances to offer what was necessary. And they look at our club and go, well, you don't have the finances either. You have no payroll, and that's why you're going to be grateful for $1.5 million. No, we're not. At some point, we will have to cash in on somebody, but I'm certainly not going to cash in for pennies like that. And that's all that they were willing to offer us. So we've survived that scare, but now we have the other scare. Now we have some real morale problems once again, and we went through a long stretch of losing, and it took a shock win to snap us out of it. And then we did fantastic for a while. At least at the moment, we have a 10-point cushion over West Brom, 13 over Charlton, and 18 over Millwall. So we have a gap. We're not in a great position. It's only 19th, but we have a gap. For now, that's going to have to do. For now, that's going to have to be enough for us. This next month, though, is going to be critical. We do not need to be winning a lot of these matches, but we need to win 1 or 2. We need to score some points. We need to get that 1 point per match over that next 6. If we can get 2 wins out of 6, or a win and a few draws out of 6, then we're doing fine. It'll help the morale bounce back. I would imagine a few of the players along the way will have dropped their concerns and moved on from it. February is going to be pivotal, but that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.